I'm Veda Miller Young. I'm going to try to give a little history of my life for Carrie. I was born in Panguitch, Utah on January the 20th, 1921, one of the coldest days of the year, so I was told. My father was James Lazelle Miller. He was one of 10 children. My mother was Ruth Agnes Miller, Reed Miller. She and Dad were married on the 1st of March in 1916. They had 5 children, 6, one stillborn child. We lived in Panguitch, Utah, in the old Miller home. When I was 5 years old, Dad tore down the old house that Grandpa Miller had built and built our new home. It was one of the nicest homes in Panguitch, and we were all so proud of it. I remember the building, how they took all the bricks and sanded them from the old house and built our new home. While they were building it, we lived out in the trail in a little room they had taken off in the old home. And I remember so many things about it, but one thing that is so clear in my memory, my mother was pregnant, and so some of her friends decided to have a surprise party for her. I guess it was a shower in those days. And they came to, we had all just had our bath and was ready for bed when the people came. And my pajamas had a drop seat in them, and the buttons were off. And I can remember how embarrassed I was. I was 5 years old, but I can remember how embarrassed I was because my bottom was showing to these people. That was one of the first things I can remember. Then I can remember when Niall was born, just after we moved into our new home. We had a happy childhood. Carefree, we went around all summer barefooted and in our overalls, riding horses and climbing trees, having more fun. I was kind of a tomboy, not as much as my girlfriend, and I had a hard time keeping up with Faye, riding horses and fighting with the boys and doing the things like that. I was the middle child. Reed was the oldest, Dorothy, then me, Dan, and Niall. And of course, I was picked on. I was the middle one, and I was picked on. I always had hand-me-down dresses, and of course I thought I was really abused. But I got along fine, I guess. When I was 14, my mother died of childbirth. That was a very sad time in our lives. It was hard to be left without a mother. She was so dear to all of us. Very respectful of our parents. Father, I never remember Dad ever raising his voice at any of us. I can remember he picked Niall up once and gave him one spat on the bottom, and that's as much of a spanking as my father ever gave any of us. Of course, when Dad was gone, he was gone quite a bit of the time because he had sheep and he had to take care of them. And like most kids, we got kind of out of hand with Mother, telling her just a minute, but we minded real well, I think, considering what I see nowadays. As we had a real happy childhood. My Grandma and Grandpa Reed lived clear down on the edge of town, and we spent a lot of time there. They had a big old house, and we'd go there every Christmas, every New Year's, every Thanksgiving, and have dinner, all of my cousins. And I'm telling you, there was a crowd of us. Grandma's dining room used to seem so big because we would stretch tables all down and across the back and put tables in the kitchen. And oh, what good meals we had. And in the front room, Grandma had a bay window, and we'd always have the Christmas tree there. we would stream popcorn and cranberries and decorate the tree. Grandpa would always come and get us in the old sleigh with the bells on and the team of horses and take us down, because there was always a lot of snow in those days. And we'd ride around town. Oh, that was so much fun. And then when we'd get to Grandma's, Grandpa would take us all down on the creek sleigh riding, and he could skate so well, and he'd teach the kids how to skate and pull us on the sleighs. It was just a ball. My grandma was the midwife in Panguitch. She was just a tiny little woman, but she would go all over town delivering babies. And this is the thing I remember about her so well. Such a dear, sweet woman. My mother, when she died, delivering her baby. The elementary school was right across the street from our house. And we would wait until it was just time for the bell to ring. The first bell would ring 15 minutes before the last bell. So we knew when the last bell was going to ring, and we'd all run bloody murder to school before the last bell rang. It was a 3-story building, old, because that's where my mother even went to school. And it was fun going up and down the steps, and the old rooms, they had a lot of memories. In fact, I think Jim and Joan had classes there one time.
Bill even did.
And then when it got time for high school, the high school was clear up on the hill at the end of town, but it burned down the year before I was to go to high school. So we went to high school in the South Ward Chapel.
For how many years?
Well, I started there when I was a freshman, and then our senior year they built the new high school, and that was across the road from our house. So again, I started to wait until the last minute and went to high school. And in March they had the 49ers. That was a big time. They had the parade and the dance. And the deer hunters ball the night before the deer hunting season opened. So we always had a good time to the dances and things like that. And the 4th of July, it was always a big parade. I remember Mother'd always have to do chicken and a big freezer of ice cream, because you couldn't go downtown and buy ice cream and your cold drinks like you do now. We'd make our root beer and our ice cream, and oh, that was a big time on the 4th of July to go to the parade. And we always had our pretty dresses. I remember one year my cousin took me to the lake with he and his wife and their kids fishing, and we rolled up in a wagon, a teaming wagon, stayed for a week fishing and playing up in the mountains. When we came back, I was so sunburned. I was just like I don't know what. I was so red and peely and blisters, and got home and Mother was making me a pink organdy dress with ruffles all around it. And I'm telling you, I looked like a sad sack in that pink organdy dress, and I was just 3 times darker than it was. But that was the fun we had. We'd get our new dresses for the 4th, and then we'd get new outfits for Christmas. And that was, then when school started, we'd get one outfit to start school. And that was our clothes. We didn't have to worry about what we were going to wear tomorrow, because we knew it was just our last 4th of July dress or our skirt and our jumper that we got to start school in.
What did you do for entertainment?
When we were kids, we had parties. We had, everybody had their birthday party. We had parties, and we had bonfires in the summer. We'd build big bonfires and play games. We'd play Run Sheepy Run and Hide the Strap and roast potatoes. We'd take potatoes and throw them out in the fire, and they would burn practically to pieces, but oh, they were good. That little piece in the middle was sure good. And go swimming down in the river. There's no